Do you know what the word retinol legally requires a brand to put in the bottle? Do you know which $90 night cream lists its hero ingredient below the fragrance in concentration order? Do you know which anti-aging brand charged you for a molecule it still won't quantify from a formula it hasn't meaningfully updated since the 1980s? We read the clinical trials, we pulled the patent filings, we went through the FDA adverse event database. And what we found is that the anti-aging aisle is running the most profitable long con in personal care, because the thing it's selling, time, is the one thing you can never get back to verify the receipt. Today we're ranking 11 anti-aging cream brands, 8 that are charging you for promises they were never required to keep, and 3 that dermatologists still recommend when nobody from the brand is in the room. Number 4 on the villain list built a legacy on a molecule that genuinely works, then stopped disclosing how much of it is in the jar the moment the patent made that silence profitable. By the end of this video, you will know which brands have clinical data behind the claim on the front of the box, which ones are selling you 1982 science at a 2026 price, and which 3 are worth every dollar. Starting with the brand whose product line is named after a process your skin does automatically, and whose formula does surprisingly little to help it do that better. Number 8, Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair, $19. The word rapid in capital letters next to the word retinol, you pick it up because it feels like the responsible science-backed choice. Then you flip the box and find retinol listed below fragrance in the ingredient order, which in INCI ranking means the thing you bought this product for is present in a smaller amount than the thing they added to make it smell like a spa. Ken Fouet has never disclosed the retinol concentration. Independent estimates put it below 0.1%. One reviewer used it for 5 days before her skin began peeling in patches with a burning sensation she described as a sunburn she hadn't earned. You cannot adjust what you cannot measure. The most recognizable retinol box in America contains more fragrance than retinol. That is the formula. But Neutrogena at least gave you a real ingredient at a low price. Number 7 charged 3 times more and gave you an ingredient that isn't retinol at all. Number 7, Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair, $78, the blue bottle, the gold dropper. The nightly ritual your mother performed, or the woman at the Nordstrom counter who made it look like religion? Here is what is actually inside. Not retinol. Retinol palmitate, a weaker ester requiring multiple conversion steps before it becomes biologically active, and it is not even the star of the formula. Retinol palmitate sits after bifida ferment lysate, after caffeine, after a sequence of botanical extracts. The caffeine has a larger role in this formula than the vitamin A derivative. What Advanced Night Repair actually is, and this never appears on the bottle, is a well-formulated antioxidant serum. A cosmetic chemist who published a full ingredient analysis noted that for actual anti-aging efficacy, there are products at a fraction of the price with stronger evidence. The bottle launched in 1982. In 2026, Estee Lauder is still charging you for that reputation. Calling this a retinol product is like calling a salad a steak because someone waved beef over it on the way to the table. Number 6 didn't mislead you about the molecule, it misled you about the math. Number 6, Sunday Riley A plus high-dose retinoid serum, $85, 6.5% retinoid blend. A number printed on the Sephora page and recited by every counter associate trained to lead with it. Here is the arithmetic they're hoping you skip. That 6.5% counts everything: retinol, retinol palmitate, hydroxypinocolone retinoate, all blended and totaled, the weaker esters, the stronger ones, the ones that barely convert, added up like a student padding a resume. The actual retinol fraction is a fraction of that headline number. The FTC investigated Sunday Riley after documented evidence emerged that the company had directed employees to write fake 5-star reviews on third-party retail sites. The CEO's internal instructions specified fake account names, VPN use, and flagging negative reviews for removal. The settlement involved no fine and no admission of wrongdoing. A brand that inflated its active percentage and fabricated its review record is not an anti-aging brand. It is a math problem in minimalist packaging. Number 5, charged less and damaged the evidence base in a different way. Number 5, Olay Regenerist Micro Sculpting Cream. $28 and a 4-week firming claim. The supporting study is a self-assessment survey. Participants were asked whether they felt their skin looked better. That is the trial. You are the scientist and the subject simultaneously, and your feelings are the data. Procter & Gamble has never published independent peer-reviewed clinical data on this specific formula. The niacinamide and aminopeptides in the jar are legitimate ingredients. The certainty with which the box describes their effect on your wrinkles is not. Under the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act, Olay was never required to prove a single wrinkle improved. They were required to prove it is safe. They chose the cheaper obligation. Number 4 built a more expensive version of the same problem with a legacy large enough to make the price feel earned. Number 4, Lancôme Rénergie, $80 to over $100 at the Sephora counter. L'Oréal owns Lancôme. L'Oréal also owns a product with comparable key actives, the same fermented extract family, the same hyaluronic acid architecture, the same vitamin A derivative pathway, sitting on the drugstore shelf for $18. One company, one research pipeline, 2 price points separated by a counter, a commission, and a story told by someone in a white jacket who is paid to tell it. A skin scientist who published a side-by-side comparison concluded the efficacy was comparable and recommended the cheaper version without qualification. Less than 30 cents of every dollar you spend at the Lancôme counter goes into the formula. The rest buys the lighting, the sample pressed into your palm on the way out, and the feeling that you are the kind of person who invests in herself. Number 3 charged more and delivered less evidence per dollar than anything else on this list. Number 3, La Prairie Skin Caviar Luxe Cream, $340 for 2 ounces. The hero ingredient is caviar extract. The published clinical data on caviar extract as a topical anti-aging active is thin and largely funded by La Prairie itself. Independent researchers have noted that the proteins in caviar extract are too large to penetrate the skin barrier meaningfully, which means the molecule the brand is selling cannot reach the layer of skin it would need to reach to matter. $340 for a moisturizing base with a marketing budget allocated to an ingredient that may not get through yet. The texture is extraordinary. The evidence is not. Number 2, charged less and structured the damage more deliberately. Number 2, Roden and Fields Redefine Regimen. $150 for a multi-step system sold through a direct sales model, which means the person recommending it to you is also compensated when you buy. The regimen layers retinol across multiple steps without disclosing the concentration at each stage, making it impossible to calculate your total active exposure. Dermatologists who reviewed the formulas noted that this structure removes the user's ability to manage their own dosage. Several users in online communities described significant barrier disruption within 2 weeks, not the adjustment period of a single retinol introduction, but the consequence of not knowing how much you are applying because the brand designed the system so you couldn't find out. That is not an oversight. Number 1 is the brand that held the patents, built the gold standard, and then kept charging patent-era prices after the patents expired. Number 1, SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic, $185 an ounce. The patent on the specific L-ascorbic acid vitamin E, and ferulic acid formulation, expired in March 2025. The price did not move. Timeless Skincare now sells a comparable formulation for $27. The Ordinary sells vitamin C serums under $15. If you use CE Ferulic daily, that expiry represents over $600 a year that L'Oreal is still collecting for legal protection that no longer exists. The formula is still excellent. The price is now a loyalty tax on people who haven't been told the patent is gone. That is number one. Not because the product doesn't work, because it stopped being worth that price in March 2025, and the brand is counting on you not knowing the date. Now, the 3 brands that dermatologists recommend when no one from the brand is in the room. Differin is a $13 FDA-approved drug. Every cosmetic retinol on the villain list was required to prove it is safe. Differin was required to prove it works. That is a different category of obligation, and it costs $13 at Target. The Ordinary Retinol in squalane is $6 with the concentration printed on the label. No proprietary blend, no padded percentage, just the number. A $78 serum that won't tell you its retinol fraction, and a $6 serum that will are answering the same question with very different levels of confidence. CeraVe Resurfacing. Retinol. Serum is $20, encapsulated for controlled release, fragrance-free, and the gentlest retinoid introduction the category has produced at any price. L'Oreal bought CeraVe for $1.3 billion. They also make Lancôme. 1 research budget, 2 decisions about what different customers deserve to know. Across all 11 brands, the pattern holds. The anti-aging aisle charges you for time spent trusting a molecule listed below the fragrance, time building a ritual around a bottle whose patent expired and whose price never reflected that fact. Flip the box, find the active, ask for the percentage. If the brand won't tell you, the silence is the only answer you need.